Queens of the Net, and welcome to Two Mares Review, where we review anything from character design to fanfiction. I'm your host, CountessRose, and I'm joined by Firescales.
Hello!
And today we are reviewing Princess Celestia, Changeling Queen. Firescales, would you like to give us a short synopsis of the story?
Sure. Spoilers! Celestia is a changeling queen. Woo! Yeah. So basically we learned that the Celestia that we know and love is actually an imposter. 1,000 years ago, she was, how do you say her name again?
Altair.
Altair. I'm never going to get that right. She was almost murdered by her sister, Chrysalis.
Dun dun dun!
And she was teleported to the castle of the two sisters, where a almost dying Celestia basically hands her memories, her powers, her powers in a way.
Kind of.
And says, you Princess Celestia now, I go take a nap. And Altair's like, screw you! And so she creates the equestrian we know and love. She helped Luna get away from Nightmare Moon. She helped with the elements of harmony, all that lovely jazz. But alas, when the love bubble was used in the Canterlot wedding, alas, her identity of Celestia was stripped from her. So thus we go on this adventure in how she becomes accepted within the pony society and helps the changeling race become allies, friends with Equestria and whatnot, and the bumps on the road that happen along the way.
And there were many a bumps.
Too many to count.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is one of the the main thing that I love about fanfiction. It is able to play with the big what ifs and build stories up around that, because what if Celestia was a changeling all along? And I'm just like, yes, this is good. And this story I have loved for a while, and I have been wanting to talk about it. And I have finally gotten Firescales to read it.
Yep.
Hopefully you weren't staying up till 3 a.m. reading this one.
Darling, I already do that. It's fine.
Okay, so the main thing I realized about this story was, when I was first reading it, was how Blue Blood was depicted. I don't know why. It was just like the first instance of Blue Blood that I found where he wasn't a complete and utter ass.
Well, I think he used it as a facade. I think he kind of, like Altair, who hid behind Celestia, I don't remember what reason it was, but he was like, I make myself look like a snob.
I think it's to help his auntie, because people find him unassuming, but he's actually this really, really smart pony who's very good at diplomacy and reading people, and he uses his snobbish facade basically to keep people on their toes and not actually know what he's doing. And also, I think noble ladies can be very gabby when talking with him, and he can actually get a good read on what's going on with the nobility of Canterlot.
Yep. And I still love how, even still, the writer allowed to have Rarity chase him around with a chair.
Oh, that was beautiful. But, I also love it because, he knew that Altair was a changeling ever since he was a small boy, and he still saw her as his aunt and a pony that he loved, and loved him in return, and raised him and protected him. And so it was actually the fact that he was just like, Auntie, are you okay?
Yep.
And that was another nail in the coffin for everyone to calm down and stop locking her in the dungeon.
Curse me. In the name of me, why in the world did I make the dungeon so gosh darn good?
What was the most interesting or favorite parts that you found?
It's really hard to pick one, to be honest. I liked how in-depth, some people might call them, boring chapters, but I liked how she took time to explain, the names of the different generals, and basically the detail, how much detail she went into in terms of the the treaty, for fashion. I mean, for how changelings would show their ID cards to say, yes, I am a registered changeling. Just kind of that intricate detail. She could have easily just said, and they did some stuff for a day, and she didn't have to go into that much detail, but they did.
Yeah.
And also going into intricacies of the changeling hive, the mother and daughters, and how a queen ascends to her role, and the drones and stuff like that.
And the classifications of them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got a really good structure of how a hive is set up, because there's the infiltrators, scouts, the soldiers, and the drones. Mm-hmm. And then there's the queens, and how their hierarchy is set up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yay.
Because it was good world building for changeling, especially, since you gave the main queen, Chrysalis's mother, I don't remember her name, unfortunately, but she had four daughters.
Four queen daughters.
She
might have had others, but basically we just focused on the queens.
And they spread out, so it kind of gave some world development for the changelings, because so far in the show, all we have to go by is Chrysalis's, or what's his name? Thorax's hive. That's all we have to go by. And so as far as we know, there's no more changelings, but I mean, it's kind of probably safe to assume that there is, but we have no proof.
Yeah.
So
if we got another changeling queen to deal with in show, I would be very happy, but I highly doubt it.
It'd be cool, but so it was nice seeing, oh, you were in the Everview Forest, you were in Baltimore, and you were in the Badlands. So it kind of gives, gave a sense of more changelings as a species rather than as an odd phenomena that, of what Chrysalis is in the show.
Yeah, it kind of ingrained them more into the world of Equestria than just like, hey, there's just this one little species hub, and that's all there is of this one species.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what about yours? After my long-winded explanation.
I loved the development of Altair's and Luna's relationship after they figured out that Altair was not Celestia. Luna was just devastated because it's it's all my fault that this happened. You had to take on the mantle of my sister. You had to rule for 1,000 years, and you welcomed me home when I was not even your blood. But Altair was just I got to know you through Celestia's memories, and I didn't want to blame you because that would have put me on the same level as my older sister, who to a certain point she hated, because you kind of can't really it's hard to forgive someone who murdered your mother.
And tried to murder you too. But seriously, she tried to do a coup against her mother because she was jealous of the relationship Altair had with their mother. And then Altair was being protected from Chrysalis, and her mother died protecting her, and that just it was just oh my gosh, you were her favorite. Why were you favorite? I'm the oldest. I'm supposed to be her shadow. Because Queen Shadows is the title for the oldest daughter. I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah.
Just that the eldest daughter had a certain title. But just the relationship building between all those sisters and the changelings and Altair and Chrysalis, just little details. Again, Blue Bloods and Cadence's characters as well I really enjoyed. But I think my favorite part was just anything that had to do with Chrysalis's oldest daughter. What was her name?
We have the interwebs at our disposal.
Yes, let me go and get her name. All the names are so just
especially the changeling names. They were hard to remember sometimes because I was wait a minute.
The only one I can actually pronounce without help is Belladonna.
Yeah. All the others I was say what?
Yeah, it's
But then again, that's kind of a nice fitting
Altanina? I think I don't care. I'm calling out Altair. maybe in the next chapter. These chapters are long. Yes, this entire story, although it is shorter than some of the stories that we have reviewed, is over 100,000 words, and I'm just like...
It's 30 chapters.
It's 30 very long chapters, but not the longest I've seen. And don't worry, I won't make you read that one.
Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be like throwing you the entire collection of Harry Potter books and say, read this in a weekend.
And I'll be like, Say what?
Because I've actually double-checked the word count. That's how long it is. Oh my god.
I got things to do. Paintings to paint, characters to draw.
Yes, you are a very busy dragon.
Rawr.
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 Oh, you have Wookiee bobblehead.
Yes, I have Wookiee bobblehead. I got him for Christmas last year. Oh my gosh.
I have Spider-Gwen bobblehead. I bobble her head a lot for good luck.
Have you seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, it looks really interesting.
Spider-Gwen's gonna be in it!
Ooh, I love her. I love her hoodie.
I do too. Does she always wear the ballerina shoes?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is kind of a small detail. I like how we're nerding about something else besides pony.
Well, like, hello, I'm trying to find a word. Syndra is the youngest name, but that is not the Queen's shadow for Chrysalis. Lamia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Or Lamia? Lamia.
Lamia.
Lamia?
Lamia? Okay, we'll just call her Lamie.
Lamie. Alright, back to Two Mares, and...
Okay, so, Celestia's oldest daughter's name is, Lamie, and I really enjoyed her because she wanted to do kind of what her grandmother wanted to do, which was make contact with ponies. Mm-hmm. But because, and we'll probably talk about this in a bit, some racist assholes who attacked her when she was attacked her when she had a piece with a white flag of truce. Mm-hmm. In her mouth, they attacked her, and she was horribly disfigured. But she still was willing to give ponies a chance and to pursue peace, even though her mother's, who was rightfully angry at the attack on her daughter, which was one of the reasons why she didn't reach out to the ponies for help, because of her hive was in a case of starvation. Mm-hmm. Because the entire conflict of why Canterlot was attacked in the way it was, it made actually a lot of sense in the story, because Chrysalis' hive had been attacked. Well, her infiltrators were being attacked by a rival hive, which plays into later. Mm-hmm. And so her love stores were low, her people were starving, but she chose to attack the pony stronghold as a last-ditch effort instead of reaching out peacefully, because of the past experience of her daughter trying to do the same, but her daughter coming back maimed, crippled, and disfigured. And it was really interesting and really well set up, and it was slowly revealed, and I want to punch this pony in the face so hard, because, oh wow.
Basically, there's, what was it? Equestria First.
Equestria First
is
basically the Equestria version of, I guess, the KKK or something? Yeah, basically, they wanted Equestria to be the strongest nation in the equestrian world, which it kind of already is. Kind of, yeah, but like their thing was just like Equestria is for ponies and ponies only.
Yeah, no griffins, dragons, changelings, even zebras, which I was kind of like, really? But was there just, hippogriffs, anything that wasn't pony, they did not appreciate being in Equestria, so thus they would assassinate or scare them off. Mm-hmm. So that's, unfortunately, Lamia, that is the ponies that she met, and thus she was met with terrible magic that disfigured her permanently.
Yeah.
So, but one thing I kind of found interesting was when quite some time later, when her younger sister shows up with a couple of her drones, and
Bellamina or the other one?
I think it was Bellamina. I think it was Bellamina, I think.
Belladonna,
Belladonna. Belladonna, and when she shows up and she's starving, and she was like, she's angry at Chrysalis for basically, one, for revealing the changelings, and two, revealing them as nothing but a hostile, beastly race. But what I found even more interesting was the fact, because, I was kind of expecting her to be, because Chrysalis was like, look what they did to my daughter. And I was almost expecting Belladonna to be almost sympathetic, but she was the opposite. She was like, you did this for technically selfish, kind of selfish reasons.
Selfish vendetta.
Personal vendetta. And I was like, that is true too. I didn't think of that. And so...
Yeah.
So I kind of like, it was interesting how that, because everyone was like, oh, poor Chrysalis, poor mom, she was being a mom. She was being a mom. So it kind of pulled at our heartstrings, but then we were forced to see the other uglier side of it. She was being pretty selfish about it, and, instead of, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, I'm trying to remember, was Belladonna the one who had the hive at Baltimore, or was she the one...
She was in Baltimore.
She was the one at Baltimore. She, and they had to go and help her because the Equestria First ones were attacking her hive because they found out where her hive was. And it's just, this is a big story of, like, political intrigue trying to stop a war from happening, and, oh my gosh, what was it, Major Goldstar?
Yes!
Oh my gosh, I want to punch him in the face.
He was such a toot! Just, gee Louise!
But
even spitting awful at, even though she's a changeling, but he was spitting awful at Celestia, the princesses as well. He was like, he sent this. I almost wanted to call it death magic because it just disfigures you so horribly.
Well, it was called
red magic or something.
No, it was called Spellfire.
Spellfire. I mean, so he fires this at where all the Changeling Queens are, knowing that he could hit the two sovereign princesses, the Elements of Harmony, the Alicorn Princess of Love, her husband. And he's just like, nope, all you guys don't matter. The Changelings have to die. It's like,
yeah,
I sense a problem with your logic, my dear sir.
Okay, again, hatred doesn't really have to have a logic. And that's what it is. It is pure, unadulterated hatred of someone who is different from you. Even though it sucks, it's like, it was actually handled really well in the story. Yeah.
It was very well handled.
That's the best we can say. It's just like, yes, racism exists, and
it's terrible.
It's terrible, but at least it was handled, I guess, in a neutral way. So,
like they weren't painting the ponies as one particular people and the changelings as another particular people. Do you get what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
It was very, ponies are ponies, changelings are changelings, in this story. And so she's not, the writer's not pointing, you guys are this and you guys are that. It's just ponies and changelings. And
they're different, but they can exist.
Yeah, it was handled very tactfully mature.
So yeah. I think we kind of went into just dissolved into no structure at all. So, hey, okay, so basically we have Altair, who was revealed as having impersonated Celestia for 1,000 years, and the way that they explained how she was able to raise and lower the sun is basically she has the love and adoration of an entire country given to her. So is by that power that she's able to move a celestial body.
2 for a while.
Yeah, I'm just like, that makes sense because that is a lot of power. And so my only thing is just how, because we all know in the show, Celestia gets her ass kicked by Chrysalis. And how it was explained that she was, I'm kind of iffy on it, but it makes some sense. Because Altair has the adoration and affection and appreciation of an entire country, but Chrysalis was feeding off of direct, passionate love from Shining Armor for however long she was impersonating Cadence.
Probably a couple weeks to a month, probably.
Maybe, but that's where because it was actually said that that Cadence was actually locked in the Crystal Catacombs for maybe 24 hours.
Yes, yeah, that is a whole.
Yeah, that's one of the a whole but very tiny and a very minute detail.
Well, one detail that I can think of, because Altair's crown keeps her magic golden colored. One thing we notice in the show is when Celestia is knocked back, her crown falls off. And so if she immediately, reared up and tried to fire stuff, it would fire lime green.
Yeah.
And so that would immediately, right then and there, give her away, even though she was given, her identity was given away within like 5 minutes later. But, maybe it was probably unintentional, but it kind of also made sense, like, oh shoot, if I do anything, I'm revealed.
But
so
I guess that's not really a thing, seeing that she was knocked out from that.
Yeah, true dat. So
yeah, it's just like, yay!
Yeah, a little minor hiccup.
No minor hiccup but like it was explained, but like I'm kind of wishy-washy on being able to accept that explanation. But I can move forward because the story itself was, again, well done. So, do you want to talk about Chris's and Altair's other two sisters?
They're, good characters. They were typical fierce, strong-willed changelings. Belladonna was the one from Baltimore.
I think so. It's like I get them too mixed up because
I do get them because they are minor characters, but she cares about her hive enough to refute her sister, call her out on her severe mistake, and immediately bow to Celestia, begging for help. So very caring. And then the fourth sister, who I cannot remember her name.
Simulacris. S-I-M.
Or maybe Belladonna was from the Everfree Forest. Okay, the sister that's from Baltimore. I thought she was really, she was, a good queen, cared about. After she was done being angry with Chrysalis, she was a good sister. She was, good diplomat, in, putting aside her pride and saying, hey, I'm in trouble. You're trying to do this for the changelings. Please help. And the Changeling Queen that was from the Everfree Forest, aka she disguised herself as Zecora.
Yeah, just gonna drop that bomb on you right now.
Kaboom! She, she was very similar to Chrysalis, Chrysalis before, very fierce, very dark and brooding, and I think she just wanted to take, Chrysalis down because Chrysalis murdered her mother and supposedly her sister.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think it was Belladonna was the one who pretended to be Zecora. She in this story there's no Zecora. She just came up with a zebra facade that she used.
Yeah. Wasn't Belladonna the one that Altair was closest to?
Yeah, Belladonna, they were best friends.
So that explains her change in her demeanor.
So, like, for the entire story, up to this point, Belladonna had thought that Chrysalis had obviously murdered their mother in a power grab, and in the same fight had killed her favorite sister. So, she had been using her changelings to attack Chrysalis' changelings, therefore causing the love shortage, therefore causing the attack on Candlelight, therefore causing this entire thing to happen. All because Chrysalis wanted to make a power grab to prove herself to her mother, to prove her worth in her eyes to her mother, who she thought didn't see her as worthy, because she gave the impression that Altair was her favorite.
So,
sibling rivalry is a thing, guys.
Oh, yep, it is. And so she probably got the least development of them, but she got a little bit of an arc when when Altair revealed herself, and she immediately was kind of like very ecstatic that her sister was alive and was persuaded not to kill Chrysalis and whatnot. So, they're minor characters, but they're good minor characters.
Yeah, it's like. Because, I have actually read the sequel to the story. I kind of wish there was a better dynamic between the sisters. It's just, it's not exactly there, but it's there in some small degrees, and I'm okay with that. So.
What else do we have left?
Were there any particular scenes that you enjoyed?
Oh, it all kind of blurs together.
This is what happens when you read it all in one go.
Well, I didn't read it all in one go. I read it over a few days.
Okay, well, at least that's better than the last one.
Yeah, I read it over a few days, but it's just...
Not enough time to digest it all.
Yeah, I enjoyed the scene when Altair got shot with the... What kind of spell was it again?
Spellfire.
Spellfire, yeah, Spellfire. And she's on her deathbed, basically. And
Yeah.
so the three sisters fly and use their brains and whatnot to find the actual Celestia. And to try and wake her. I liked it how technically the elements of harmony probably did wake Celestia. Just took a minute for the gears to start rolling and whatnot. But I liked how it looked like Chrysalis's scream woke up Celestia. Chrysalis has her own royal court voice, and
Wake up!
And it wakes up gods. That's what it looked like. So I kind of chuckled on the inside at that, but I liked seeing Celestia when she wakes up. It was nice to see when Celestia, when she woke up, the first person or pony she went to was Luna. And then her proxy, of course, after that. But it was good to see, like, it wasn't like, oh, the person who impersonated me for 1,000 years, let me go check on them. No, it was her sister.
I'm going to go check on my sister. Because she was my main priority.
Yeah.
It was nice. That entire thing where...
It was tense.
Equestria first attacked the treaty signing ceremony. And it's just like, all these power dignitaries from 4 changeling hives, the Princess Celestia Fake, Luna, the Elements of Harmony, the greatest defenders of Equestria, Cadence and Shining Armor were all there, and they just like swarmed in, and it's just like, the fact that Altair actually tried to protect her sisters was really nice.
But imagine the horror Chrysalis went through, though.
It's just like, oh shit, not again.
Not again! Don't follow Mom's footsteps!
Yeah, and I think that was like a really nice parallel, because it's just like, Altair really did, even though she was angry at her sister, planning a vendetta against her for 1,000 years, she was able to forgive her for the greater good, for family love and sisterly bonds, and for the good of her ponies, her changelings, everyone. She was able to give up her anger at her sister and let go, and because their mother wanted them to get along. And she loved them both, and she was able to, and she wanted to help build a better world for her daughters and her daughters' future hives. And Celestia, Altair, wanted to do that as well, and she was able to let go of her anger and move forward and build this peaceful world.
Yeah.
And then Equestria first comes in.
Those little toots.
Oh my gosh. And they try to shoot, again, you've already said, all the powerful dignitaries who are trying to bring forth peace. But it's not peace that they want. They want only ponies, but ponies aren't the only ones in the world. I was like, oh my gosh. And Altair's form
is
being revealed. Everyone's just like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And then the search for the real Celestia was actually really well done. And yeah, I still kind of giggle at Chrysalis is like, wake up!
Okay, I am awake.
You need to wake up. My sister, who you put in this mess, is dying, and I need you to fix it.
Well, that's when Celestia turns to Chris and goes, remember, thou puttest your sister in this situation by almost killing her.
Shut up! Fix it!
There's more than one way to fantasize. I love that line. I was going to say something. What was I going to say? I don't remember.
Find the train.
The train's tumbling down the mountain. Oh well. It'll land on a track and get to its destination in a little bit.
Eventually.
Alright, I think we talked enough about story. Let's talk about art.
Okay.
Art.
Okay, so we have, there originally was one cover art, which is this one. And it wasn't designed to be the cover art originally. It was found and then used with permission, of course.
Yeah.
And I think this was actually done for a contest. I think that was done by Rose.
Do you know exactly what that contest was?
Well, let's see. Here's the thing. The contest is Shapeless Sun Art Contest from 2012.
Let's see. What Shapeless Sun? Changelings. Okay, so basically Changeling Celestia. That was... Okay, just basically make a Changeling Celestia.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so
this was the first cover art that was done. And it was done by Angela Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then at a later date, a proper cover art was created for this image by Polanius.
Links will be below.
Links would be below, and I apologize, I can't read. And I guess it depicts the story a little bit better, and it obviously is tailored to the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy the painterly style very much.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of the boxy snout. That's not my way of, it's not how I draw ponies. It's a little unusual to me, but it's, it's a little detail
Semantics.
Yeah.
It's really nicely done, and I love the half-transformed Altair and Celestia.
Yeah. The one thing I am noticing, though, aren't those flamey kind of things supposed to be green?
Kind of.
Details.
Details, semantics. Moving on.
I do like how the traditional Frank Frazetta pyramid, if you don't know who Frank Frazetta is, he's a grandfather of fantasy art.
Look it up.
He doesn't know a lot of nudities.
Yes.
So if you're under 18, don't look him up.
Or at least have mature blocks on, I guess.
Yeah, this is true.
He's done a couple.
It's not all that, but let's just say he was from the 80s.
He enjoys the female form.
He loves to paint ladies. They're beautiful looking.
They're beautiful.
I wish I could paint ladies like that, but still. They
Still.
don't. The clothes are kind of non-existent. But anyway, he was the one who invented the pyramid with the main character up top and kind of leading down to below. Mm-hmm. So I think that seeing that nice traditional shape of the painting, I thought was really good and pleasant to see.
And this little scene of the two sisters in their battle that kind of started this whole cacophony of intrigue and deceit and all this stuff being depicted at the bottom, I think is really well done. Drama! Although my main complaint is the big, huge block of very dark. It's not exactly black, but it's very close to being black. Kind of offsets it because it's just
yeah.
It's very large, I think mainly if it was cropped a smidge, maybe half the size.
Or maybe if they took a little bit of color right underneath Altair and kind of just painted it where it looks like the ground plane of the cave.
Yeah, if you extended the ground plane a little bit further down, maybe it would offset it, but just looking at the piece as a whole, that very large black blob at the bottom is very distracting. Because up top you have very nice hues and shades of different colors, and you have the sunbeam coming down and onto Altair's face, and yeah. But I think, because we were discussing this before we started recording, the other changelings depicted besides obviously Altair and Chrysalis, we was having problems, and I think you're right that those are Chrysalis's daughters. Because when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it's all three sisters, and I was like, wait a second, no, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, because Chrysalis's daughters played a bigger part of the story than the sisters of the Changeling Queens.
Yeah.
Because they're the two that kind of, in a way, softened Chrysalis up and not be so rigid and stubborn.
Yeah.
So I understand. I understand the confusion.
Yeah, because her youngest daughter, I think, was actually just a regular scout drone. Mm-hmm. So having her with a full mane and actual people eyes threw me off, thinking she was possibly Belladonna or someone.
Yeah. I do enjoy the lack of detail of the scene, so it doesn't compete with the all the main characters.
Yeah, it's the hierarchy of at least detail was very well handled because obviously the most details put onto Celestia / Altair with the mane. The mane was really well done. I love this huge swoop.
It looks really nice.
Yeah. And then it goes down to Luna and Celestia, and then her daughters and Blue Blood and Cadence, and then the big fight scene at the bottom.
And then Black Blob.
And then Black Bob.
Black Blob is happy to meet you.
Yeah, so it's like, it's well done and it's a beautiful piece, and although the other piece was well done, this one fits a lot better with the story. Because it was tailored for the story.
Yeah. The other one was a good placeholder.
Yeah.
It was let's talk about it. You know, it was picked, it was chosen for a little while. I mean, it's a good
It's a very good depiction of how Celestia felt as soon as her disguise was ripped from her.
Yeah, there's good emotion. And it's well made.
Yeah, it's like, you got a nice curve of the body, and it keeps, how the mane and the tail are done, it keeps the eye circling around the center of the piece.
A good line of motion. So, not much to say about it, but what I do have to say is it's very good.
It's a very well, nicely done piece, and I think she's still active, so yay.
2 hooves up.
Yay! Okay, so I think that is it, unless Fire Skulls, you have anything else to add?
Give it a read. It's good.
Give it a read. It also has a sequel and some side stories. I would very strongly suggest a sequel. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It has sea ponies in it.
Nay.
So yeah.
That's all I got.
That's all we got. Okay, so if you have a story you would like to suggest or a character you would like us to discuss, you can leave links to it down below, or you can send us a note on either our DeviantArt, which is twomaresreview.deviantart.com, or you can tweet at me at CountessRose on Twitter. So, until next time, guys, I'm Countess Rose.
And I'm Fire Scales.
Bye-bye!
Bye!